Right, so I'm gonna hope this is in focus. Welcome back to my channel, and today's video is gonna be a little different. And now I know I say that every single time I do a video, but this one really is different because like usually I do like makeup, clothes, lifestyle. This is about books, if you couldn't already guess by the title. So a little bit of a backstory. Before the new year, I decided to make a New Year's resolution to read more because I never read, and that's not even like an exaggeration. The last book I probably read was year 8 in secondary school, and I just hated it. I found it so difficult, so I just never read. And then this year, well, obviously before this year, I thought, you know what, I need to get into it. It's good for you. It's a nice way to wind down on a night, or even, you know, wake up without checking your phone first. So I was like, I'm gonna set myself a challenge to read 10 pages every day, which means that I have read quite a few books since January. I'm quite proud of myself, so I just thought I would run through all the books that I've read this year, give a little synopsis, give my rating on them and what I thought on them, and whether it's good for, you know, like a first time reader, especially if you don't enjoy reading. It can be quite difficult to find books that you like. So all the books that I've read are quite different genres, but then it's helped me see what books I enjoy and what books I actually find easy to read. So yeah, that's enough of me rambling. Let's just get on into the video. And you know what's really sad as well? I've made a spreadsheet. I am that kind of person, and I've made a spreadsheet of books to read and the books that I've read. So I'm gonna take you through that. Oh, that's so nerdy, isn't it? But anyway. Okay, so the first book that I read this year is Looking for Alaska, that way around, by John Green. So I think I read Paper Towns a couple of years ago. That was easy, the plot was good, so I was like, you know, I'll buy another John Green book, but never got around to reading it. But it was a good book to start with because, you know, it's classed as young adult because it's not quite adult, but it's not quite teen and children, so it's a little bit easy to read. A little rundown of this book: a guy goes to this school, he meets a girl, but then like it's a bit funny, she's a bit quirky, as all girls are in John Green books. And then, without spoiling it, something happens and they try to figure out why it happened. So it's a good plot. It's very different to your typical rom-com kind of movie. I didn't give it a rating before because I already had the book, but after reading it, I rated it an 8 out of 10, which I think is pretty high. I just think it's great for first time readers. So the little description of how I found the book, I put easy to read, good plot. TV show was worse because I watched the TV show with my mum after I read this, and it didn't quite cover everything in the book, which was kind of disappointing. And then I said that I hate the ending. The ending was awful, just like, it was a cliffhanger, and I hate cliffhangers in movies and in books, so yeah. But 8 out of 10, Looking for Alaska, good book. The next book that I read after that is If I Stay. This is by Gayle Forman. Now this was a movie, and I had planned to watch the movie, and I think I got this for Christmas like when I was 15, and just, you know, never read it obviously. A little rundown of this book: a girl meets a boy. It's, you know, it's another romance book. Something happens to the girl, again without trying to spoil it, and it basically has like a lot of flashbacks to her life before the thing happened. Really, really good. I love this book. Again, I already had this book, so I didn't have a before rating, but after I read it, I rated it a 7. Also, let me just quickly explain what I mean by before rating. So I asked a lot of people on my TikTok and my Instagram to suggest books, and then I'd read the like synopsises on Amazon to see how much I think I'd like it, give it a rating, and then obviously the highest rated books I'd buy to read, and then my after rating is like my own, what I actually think once I've read it. Anyway, back to this. So the description that I gave it after reading it was good plot, maybe a little too young. So the book, the way it's written is quite fan-fiction-y, if that makes sense. And then it jumps back and forth quite a lot to the flashback, so it can get a little bit confusing. But I did watch the movie of this afterwards, like I did with Looking for Alaska with my mum. The movie was incredible, and the way they filmed it made it really easy to understand the flashbacks, so I really appreciated that. And the plot of the movie was very similar to the book, they just switched some things around. But yeah, I really enjoyed this book. Again, another recommendation. Annoyingly, my camera is just about to die, so I'm gonna have to change batteries, and the setup might change slightly, so apologies in advance. The next book after that I was recommended it on TikTok, but also my mum already had the book, so she let me borrow it, if I can find it. It's called The Unbearable Lightness of Being by Milan Kundera. This book, to say it's the third book I've read in a very long time, was quite a challenge. I rated it an 8, and then once I read it, I rated it a 6, which is kind of bad. Basically, it's really, really difficult to read. So this book is about, this is what Google says the book is about. It's about 2 women, 2 men, a dog, and their lives in the 1968 Prague spring period of the Czechoslovak history. So, you know, it's a little bit historical, a little bit philosophical. This is so overexposed. It disappointed me, not because it's a terrible book, I just couldn't read it. And the little description I gave it was good plot, a little confusing, very philosophical, different languages. That's what also made it difficult. There's a lot of, there's German, there's probably, is it Czech? I sound so ignorant right now, but that's how much I didn't understand the book. I just don't know. I mean, I'd read it again now that I know what it's about to try and understand it, but maybe not. There is a movie on it, so maybe I might watch the movie, get a better understanding of it, and then reread it again, but that might take time. The next book, my mum just gave it to me to read, so it wasn't like recommended to me on TikTok or anything, so I didn't give it a before rating. The after rating I gave it was a 10. So this is the first book that I gave 10. It was absolutely amazing. Not the kind of book that I think I would like, but I enjoyed it a lot. And it's called The Tea Girl of Hummingbird Lane by Laurie Lee. So this book, just to give you a little rundown, it's about a girl who's part of a tea tribe, and it's just her journey, which sounds really boring, but the plot is so unlike anything else that I've read or, you know, watched, so it was quite interesting. The little description that I gave it after reading was amazing, a unique plot, which I just mentioned, super easy to read, no difficult language, everything was like really well described, and I really want it to be a movie. I don't know if it is, I haven't researched it, but if this was a movie, I would watch it straight away. It's amazing. Yeah, 10 out of 10, best book that I read so far. After that book, I then read The Flat Share, which was recommended to me on TikTok or Instagram, and it's by Beth O'Leary. I read the synopsis on Amazon, rated it an 8, but then after reading it, I rated it a 7. It's basically about a girl, she moves into a flat with a guy, and, you know, very rom-com-y. So the little description that I gave it was cute rom-com, a little fan-fiction-y, and juvenile, easy read. So this was like basically a fan fiction, which is probably why I didn't enjoy it, because that's the kind of stuff that I used to read when I was younger. Not that I'm dissing it or anything, it's just not my cup of tea anymore. I feel like my taste on movies and books has changed slightly since I was younger. So it was good, there was some funny moments in it. You could guess the plot from the beginning, so it wasn't, you weren't eager to finish it, if that makes sense. But definitely a really good book to start with if you've never read or you don't read that often. And it was like £6 on Amazon, so, you know, it's good. It's all right. It's okay. Oh, okay, so this one. Okay. So, as a avid movie watcher, I'm the biggest movie fan ever, and TV shows as well. I'm really into crime, horror, murder, serial killers, that kind of stuff, which sounds absolutely horrible, but it just really fascinates me. And I, for some reason, I just didn't think that would correlate into books. I didn't think that those would also be the kind of books that I like. But this book got recommended to me on TikTok. It's called Daisy in Chains by Sharon Bolton. And I rated it a 9 before I read it, and after I read it, I rated it a 10 because it is so freaking good. Little synopsis: a man has been convicted of a murder. He gets a lawyer to try and prove that he's innocent, and the plot twist is amazing. You can kind of guess it, but then the story turns in a way where you think, oh no, that's not it anymore. And then it is it, so you're like, what the heck just happened? The description that I gave it is amazing storyline with crazy plot twists in the last 30 pages. It's easy to read and easy to imagine what the characters look like. So one of the main reasons why I didn't like reading when I was younger was I'm quite a visual person, and when I watch movies I can obviously see what's happening, so when I read it didn't translate into an image that I could remember, so I never was able to read a page and remember what just happened. And this book, the way she just describes everything made it really easy and easy to consume, easy to remember everything, so that's why I really liked it. But the plot is just incredible, like, and also she makes it so easy to like picture who the characters are. Like, I chose actors and actresses who I think would play the people. So the main woman character I pictured as Gillian Anderson, and the serial killer murderer, who in the book is called Hamish Wolf, I imagined as Jamie Dornan in 50 Shades of Grey. I don't know why, but that's just what came to mind when I started reading it. So if you've ever read it, let me know in the comments if you also, or if you understand why I pictured those people, because I think that'd be really interesting. But yeah, 10 out of 10 book, highly recommend, super good. The book after that was another recommendation from my mum. She had it, it's called Cider with Rosie by Laurie Lee. It's kind of an autobiography, but written like a fiction, if that makes sense. Is that the right term? Anyway, it's about a guy's life. He's written it based on his childhood. I rated it, what did I rate it? A 7, mainly because I found it really difficult to read, similar to the Unbearable Lightness of Being. It's got a lot of Old English in it, and because it's more based on somebody's life, it's quite slow and there's no like really exciting stuff in it, but it was good to try and like increase my reading level. It made me think a lot more, and it made me, I don't know, it was just a little bit of a challenge, which is good sometimes, and it's a lot different to everything else I'd read so far, so I didn't mind it. Yeah, it was alright, 7 out of 10, not the best, but also not the worst. Okay, so this one, really weird coincidence actually. So I was in the park with my friend, and they were like, oh, we were talking about books, sorry. And we were saying like which books I should read, because she's an avid reader, more of a reader than I am. So we were just talking about books, talking about those ones that I'd already read, some of the books she read, and she recommended Handmaid's Tale. And now I saw a trailer for the TV show and I was like, that looks really sick. So what am I talking about? I'm rambling. Yeah, so after I got back from the park with my friend, I already knew about the TV show, and now she just recommended me the book. Walked into my bedroom and my mum had left the book on my floor. I don't think I ever mentioned it to her before, but she's already read the book, left it on my floor, and I was like, you know what? That's just a sign that I need to read it. Handmaid's Tale by Margaret Atwood. Absolutely phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal. There we go. So my friend obviously recommended it, but I think I also got recommended it on TikTok because I gave it a rating of 9. And then I read it, gave it a 10. Because like I said before, it's phenomenal. A little description of this book. It's going to be kind of difficult to explain this book. It's basically like a cult that started in America, and each people have different roles. So the commanders are the men of the house. They have the wives. The wives dress in blue. Then they have Marthas, which dress in green, and they're like service people, so like maids and chefs and things like that. And then you have the handmaids, and their names are based off the commander of the house. So this character that the book is about, her commander's called Fred, so she's called of Fred, so Offred, and whoever else, so if his name was Samuel, you'd be of Samuel, that kind of thing. So very territorial, very, what's the word when you own something? You know what I mean. So it's based on the point of view of one of the handmaids, and it's just her story. But like I said, it's very culty, it's very dystopian, it's very scary in a sense. Really, really good. Absolutely amazing. I rated it a 10 like I said. My description is incredible and hard-hitting storyline, easy to read and easy to imagine the characters. And then after I read this, I started watching the TV show with my mum, because we both read this, we both thought it was amazing, and we said the next best thing to do would be to watch TV series. And they've also kind of taken the book and extended it, so you know, you get a little bit more out of this story, and I love that because I just didn't want this to end. So now that I've got a TV show, even better. So good, a little bit graphic, but amazing. I might check out the author as well, see if she's got any other similar books, because brilliant. So the book after that one was also given to me by my mum. not recommended anywhere on TikTok or Instagram. She was just like, you might like this. So she gave me this book and I was like, here we go, a mum book. But you know what, I actually really liked it. So I rated it, what did I rate it? I rated it an 8, which isn't bad. Not the best, but also not the worst, but it was actually okay. And it's basically about a couple who become homeless for several different reasons, and they do it's called the South-West Coast Path. So basically, it's that weird little corner in the bottom of the UK. They basically walk from one point all the way around. It was interesting, not my usual sort of genre that I'd read, but the description that I put, it's a nice story, good visuals, like the way she describes the landscapes is really nice, but it was a bit waffly. So like a lot of it sounded like it could have been another chapter, if that makes sense. So it could have been a little bit more concise and a little bit shorter, but it was actually a really good plot and I enjoyed it. I wouldn't really say it's a book that people my age would enjoy. That's really stereotypical, but like the flat share, that's a bit more what you think I would enjoy, but I actually enjoyed this more. So yeah, it was good, I enjoyed it. The book after that was recommended to me on TikTok. Managed to find it in a charity shop for £1.50, so I was quite pleased with myself. It's called Holding Up the Universe by Niven, and it's about 2 characters. One of them's fat, one of them's got face blindness. And yeah, it's just a rom-com, so you can probably guess what happens. It was okay. I actually gave it a 3. I wasn't very interested in reading it, but then I found it in the charity shop and I was like, you know what, I'll just get it, £1.50. And then I rated it a 7 once I read it. Similar to the flat share, the description that I gave it, it was a little fan fiction-y, a little juvenile. You could very easily imagine it as like a teen movie, but I will say it had quite a unique plot compared to the flat share, and it was really easy to imagine the characters. Not like the Daisy and Chains book where I could picture actors and actresses, but I kind of just sort of invented the characters in my head. So that's actually really good for somebody who maybe is not into reading and finds it really difficult to imagine the characters. The way she describes the characters in this book makes it so easy to picture them. So probably a really good book for like first time readers. And now we're on to the last book that I've just finished reading yesterday. It's called Now You See Me by Sharon Bolton. So I loved Daisy and Chains. I was like, oh my god, amazing. I noticed her name on the cover of this book in a charity shop and I was like, hey, this was £1.50 as well, I think. So I was like, might as well get it. I liked her last book, I'll probably like this one. And then I got home and realised it was also recommended to me on TikTok, so I was like, impressive. I managed to find it for cheaper. And again, it's on that same sort of crime, horror, mystery, murder sort of genre, so I just knew I would like it. And a little synopsis of this book, there's just murders based on the original Jack the Ripper murders, and a detective on the case is somehow involved with it all, and they try and solve it. Very, very similar to Daisy and Chains, it's easy to imagine the characters. Although the main character in this had long hair, I pictured her with short hair. I don't know why. And I pictured her as the woman with short hair in Line of Duty. I'll insert a picture here of the woman that I'm thinking of. But yeah, easy to imagine the characters, so I really appreciate that. And the writing style is very similar, so I found it really easy to get into the book. The plot, there was a plot twist, and then in the last 3 pages there was another plot twist. I was literally in my bed like, what the hell is going on? But similar to the last book, you think you know who it is, and then it isn't. So, I don't know, I just freaking love it. So I think I have a new favourite author, and if I spot her name anywhere else, I'm literally just gonna buy her books because she's incredible. So those are all the books that I have read this year. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. That's pretty good going in 7 months, isn't it? Anyway, on to the book that I plan to read next, All the Bright Places by Niven. So she's also the one who wrote Holding Up the Universe. So I think I'll like it because I liked her writing style. It was recommended to me on TikTok and Instagram. I haven't given it a rating yet. I can't remember what it's about, but I bought it in a charity shop for £10 teared off the price there, but it was probably under £2, let's be real. Yeah, so those are all the books I've read. The next book that I plan on reading, I actually have a list of 61 other recommendations that people have given me on TikTok and Instagram. So I'll put those in the comments so you can check them out. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. I know it's a little bit different sort of video from myself. It's not what I usually do, and the next video like this will probably be in another year once I've read some more books. And yeah, I think that's everything. So give this video a big thumbs up if you liked it. Comment down below if you've read any of these books and whether you liked them, and maybe some more suggestions for me, because you know I want to create a really long list of books, make my own little library. That'd be really ace. And also subscribe and turn on the bell notification so you're notified next time I post a video, which will be not next Sunday, Sunday after. And yeah, thank you very much for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye.